Hi friends, it's Dave. It's Monday, 2nd of December, and apparently in 8 days time low value YouTube accounts are going to be deleted. Mine might be one of those. I get an extra 20 gig of data from my service provider while I'm in the UK. It halved while I was in Europe, but I get 40 gig of data a month for just £20, which seems pretty reasonable given how much we've been paying for it out in Europe. Although that's the least of my worries. If I lose my ability to live stream, if I lose my ability to connect with the community in the way that I have over the last few months and year and a half or so, it will feel like a bit of a loss to me. I have to say that, make no bones about it, it will feel like a loss. It will be a loss, and I'm sure we will find alternative solutions. And I know we all know that the hey, hi Vertic and Nathan and Ricardo. Gosh, you guys are quick off the mark. And Brian, hello mate. I caught some of your interview with Dave Murphy last night. Not all of it, but I will listen to it all. Well, most of it in fullness of time. I had a fantastic conversation with Dave Murphy. We've done some activism before together anyway, but we had a great conversation in Venice, the morning of the Venice when we first arrived on the 1st of November. But it will feel like a huge loss. I'm not really wanting to kind of make too much about it at this point in time, because it could be fear porn, and it could be accounts that are barely ever used, kind of thing. It has made me think I should maybe possibly monetize my channel, because if YouTube are going to make a few coins off of it, they might see it as something worth hanging on to. So I don't know, you guys can give me some feedback on that if you want to. I'm standing on a place called Sandbanks in Bournemouth, which is southeast England, actually only miles away from the hospital I was born in. So it's a bit of a round trip, but my son's at university down here, so we obviously haven't seen him for a month, and so we're seeing him today, and our daughter, who's in a different city, Canterbury, we'll be seeing her later in the week, I think, touching base after our crazy month away. But I wanted to start the live stream here because it's one of those fantastic little spits of land that really belie the ball, like the ball spherical geoid, or the what do they call it, oblate spheroid model is hard to kind of hang with. Well, obviously the ballers say it's so big you can't see any curvature and so on, so it's not an issue here. But I'm standing on a spit of land that stretches out that way, and obviously goes around that bay, and you're back in England proper. But watch, if I swing around here, boom, there's the ocean again. It's one of the very few places in the UK, which is why the properties here are the most expensive in the country, I'm told. In fact, my grandfather bought a house here back in the 1950s and developed it with the lounge upstairs. The lounge upstairs and the bedrooms downstairs, and no one wanted to buy it, so he lost money on it. But anyway, this is Sandbanks in England, and you've got beach on both sides of you, basically. You've got that harbour behind me, or the bay behind me, and then this beautiful beach in front. It is one of England's premier beaches. England doesn't have great beaches like you Americans, and us back in South Africa, proper sand, white sand. They only get about 5 days of warm weather a year, which is a shame, but absolutely beautiful. Now, the people who are standing, here's the thing for you. There's 11 of you watching right now, so over there is a promontory or an outcropping of rock. And if you had to ask the people over there, which is probably, I'm going to say 3 miles, it might be a bit less. Hopefully it's mostly friends here and people will be a little less kind of anal. But that, if you had to ask those people over there, were they higher than me or lower than me by 36 inches or 50 inches or whatever the formula is for that distance, they would say absolutely they were higher than me. Why don't people understand that actually both of us can't be higher than the other? I try to explain to people in the street, let's just make my fist a globe. How can I insist that I'm always on the top of the globe, but then my friend, he also insists that he's on the top of the globe, even though he's 90 degrees offset from me, or 180 degrees, he's in Australia and I'm in the northern hemisphere somewhere, but he claims to be on the top of the globe at the same time as me. How is that possible? But by magic. That rock that you can see sticking out there, I wish I had a calculator, but I reckon that's 5 miles away. It's a very clear day. It's a nice and crisp, cool day. The visibility is great. If I had a P900 camera, I bet I'd be able to see things that are invisible to me right now. But there's one sea level, and it's not difficult. Well, it shouldn't be difficult. And I'm still agonizing over this, I'm agonizing over why it's so difficult, and where we are going with this, where this is going to lead. It's Plague Zero here. Peter, that's very nice. Love you two Daves, my brothers. You enjoyed having Dave on? Yeah. Well, he's a very knowledgeable guy. I mean, we don't agree on everything. That's cool. But he's extremely knowledgeable. Oh, you've monetized? All right. Well, yeah. Okay. Monetize it. Thanks, Peter. I know that the ad revenue a little channel like mine is not, it's not really why I would do it, because it might be a few pennies more trouble than it's worth, really. And I believe that the super chats are 133% stolen from. I mean, obviously you've got to be grateful for YouTube creating this platform, so I don't want to sound too grumpy, but they'll take a third of that, so if people do feel compelled to make a contribution, then I would direct them to the old PayPal. I have a PayPal set up, Trinity4Man, but I haven't really publicized it. I am eager to stay the course of this and find a way to live without needing to return to a full-time matrix type job. I love working, and I enjoyed the physicality of being on the farm. Most people know I've been doing hard graft as a gardener and labourer type worker for the last few years since I left the government employ. So it's not like I'm lazy, but I want to. This is real. Let me turn the camera around, friends. Excuse the shaven face. I find it odd to look at myself. Friends, this is absolutely real. This flat Earth, but beyond the flat Earth, the electromagnetic universe, the divine nature of this realm and our place here is absolutely real. This is not. And I don't know why. This is why it's hard for me to understand why people want to are frightened of this. They don't want to face up to this. But ballers and even flat earthers alike see, but certainly the flat earthers, they see this and they don't realize that this is not just, oh well, let's change the maps around and what difference does it really make, when absolutely it's like something, this thing is God level timing, and for us to have been thrown out of our comfort zones or discomfort zones that we come from, to be put in this situation where we're now talking to humanity and talking on behalf of humanity, or trying to anyway, as much as we can learn and as much as we can know. This is much more than going back to a freaking day job, much more. I mean, the idea that anyone who still thinks in terms of, hey, I gotta protect my day job. No, let me not put it quite so like that. But the idea that even encouraging my own children, the older children, to oh well, you got to seek out that day job, you got to seek out that mortgage, that pension, and retirement annuities, and all that sort of thing. You got to seek that out. It's like, maybe I've got it wrong, but most of the time I don't think so. I just wanted to show you something pretty. You may recognize her. Can you see her? I've gone out of zoom. I'm in focus. There it is. You see it? The moon. Center of the screen. See it? Some people still try and justify that as reflected light from the sun. There is, this is, my blind father and deaf sisters, they would say that, you're just a dropout. My brother-in-law, ex-brother-in-law, said it absolutely. Dave, you're a fucking dropout, a loser, was his words to me. Absolutely, that's what he sees and feels. He's like a right capitalist, earning loads of money over in Los Angeles, doing financing for small to medium-sized loans. And you know how these bankers are raking in the money, charging interest and usury, and screwing people down. They're just playing the game, so you can't really bitch about it. But from our perspective, it's like, would you really want to be stuck with that? Would you really want to be doing that with your energy, with your love, with your... I don't know. I mean, sometimes, as I say, I vacillate between shit. Go and get that job. Find that thing. Take out that loan. I can't get a loan now. My credit is well past exploded. Talk about a big bang. Look at my credit history. That's a big bang now. Out of nothing, everything. And so I'm saying to myself most of the time, because obviously I'm thinking about this a lot. I was thinking about it on the tour bus because I don't have a home. But I'm thinking about it a lot because I'm back here facing the music, and I've got people around me saying, get the job. Others saying, yeah, hey, monetize. I'd like to make a contribution and stuff like that, and so on. It obviously takes a lot of contribution to get to a point where you're not needing to take the job, and it takes a while to get to a point where you got your own place to live, etc., etc. So I'm just kind of spitballing with you. I'm just throwing some of it down there. I know that there's some dark souls in flat Earth. I know there's some dark souls in the world who love, the discomfiture that some of this is causing. But the truth is, it's uncomfortable for me. It's uncomfortable, and it has been for some time, because obviously I have been taking myself along this way. I've been disconnecting from the system. I had moved away from the £500 a day type contract work that I was sometimes enjoying. I don't want to make out like that I was getting that all the time. I think the best I ever got was 600 a day, £600 a day, and most of that was working from home. You know, now someone will offer me £80 for a day of hard labor. And of course, where I live, or where, you know, in the UK, you can't live on £80 a day. You can't, unless you're already in some kind of government-sponsored housing situation, or you live in an absolute toilet. That's unfair. If you live in a, you know, really, really broke down neighborhood, you might be able to get away with living on £80 a day, and then you'd probably have to work every day of the week. I mean, 7 days a week. So I'm just spilling with you guys, friends, and I'm just saying how, you know, for me, the enjoyment of getting out there and being a street preacher, a street talker of our knowledge, our information, being that is the most rewarding, pretty much the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. Hello, dog. Hello, little thing. You're cute. Oh, there's dog. Hello, little dog. Hello. Oh, there's two. Hello. Hello. Cute dogs, mate.
Thank you. My wife keeps telling me.
That's a big camera. Gosh, what size lens is that?
7300.
Wow. Have you taken any of the moon this morning? Most people don't notice the moon when it's up during the day, but I always look for the moon.
You take pictures as well?
I do, but I don't have anything as fancy as that. Have you ever tried it? Like a lot of people these days are saying how, you know, the government or the science will tell us that ship, when it goes over the horizon, it's at about 3 miles. Have you ever clocked that? I was born in Poole General Hospital. Yeah. Despite my accent, I was born in Poole General Hospital, just down the road.
You know, it was spitting image of an old friend of mine.
Really?
Yeah, but he's not South African.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not South African either.
Oh, right.
Just my accent is South African.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you're right about that. But I was born, as I say, born in Poole General Hospital. My mom used to bring me down here as a child.
Right.
But it's been a long time since I... But anyway, I'm visiting my son, who's at university at Bournemouth now. And I wanted to ask you this question. What's your name?
John.
John, I'm Dave.
Okay.
At 3 miles, they say the ship is going over the horizon.
Yeah.
But when you take people have been on YouTube are taking powerful cameras just like yours,
Right.
and they can bring that ship back into view for another hour. Have you ever tried that yourself? So if they say it's going over the horizon at 3 miles, but I can see it for another 10 miles or 20 miles, depending on the powerfulness on my zoom, and we say water is level, when do you think the water is actually going to be curving such that we become a ball?
But if it goes over the horizon, it must have gone over the dip.
And it should be invisible.
You can't bring it back.
Exactly. So if you can bring it back, it begs the question: Do we? They're very cute, your dogs, John. Do we actually know for sure that we live on a ball if the water's not curving? I mean, you know, look, X and Y, if your X-axis is across left to right, there's definitely no curvature from that point over there. Yeah.
With ship shoes,
Yeah.
line of sight only.
Yeah.
That's why they have the area at the top of the mast.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't flat,
Yeah.
that's why with a VHF, I can talk to the moon.
Yeah.
Well, I can't talk to 75 miles over there.
Why? But isn't the range something to do with that as well?
No.
Like the range of something?
No, because it goes in a straight line.
Okay.
VHF does.
Okay, but is it
long way bounces?
Is it unlimited, the distance of the VHF? I
It
mean,
would be, yeah.
Doesn't it need a certain amount of transmission strength?
If you're here on VHF,
Yeah.
you transmit in a straight line.
Okay.
So anybody over here you won't get.
Fair enough.
right?
But the moon's up here, and you can see it.
Okay.
So you can transmit to it.
Okay. How would we know we were transmitting to the moon? Would you?
Well, I've transmitted to the space station as it goes
Have
over.
you? Have you? Now, here's a thought for you. They say that the curvature of the Earth, because we're a 24,000 mile ball, right?
Right.
They say the curvature is 8 inches in a mile squared. Have you heard that formula before?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Pythagoras says that if you live on a ball of 24,000 miles, every 8 inches per mile squared, the ball's going to go. It's going to go tipping down because it's a 4,000 mile radius. To the center of the Earth is 4,000 miles.
Yeah.
So if I travel from 0 to 90, I need to have gone down 4,000 miles. You get that?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you say so.
Well, I'm not saying so. Mainstream science says that that's 4,000. It's a 4,000 mile radius, 4,000 miles to the center of the Earth. Okay. So this person here. Hi, friends. Hello, is Ricardo here? And Doc Michael, are you still here? Sorry, guys, I lost my signal there while talking to John. I have set him a challenge. I didn't tell him that I thought the Earth was flat, but he was quite clear that he had VHF. He was bouncing VHF off the moon. I guess I wasn't quite ready to have a conversation with someone just yet. Anyway, he needed to go and collect his wife from work. Is that Conrado? Hi, man. Yeah. You know something? At Kill the Beast? I think you might. Oh, it's Kill the Beast here. It's Kieran. Kill the Beast. How are you, my friend? It's been quite a while since I've seen you. You're going to come down on Sunday to Leicester Square. I've been telling people Trafalgar. I really thought they were going to be doing it at Trafalgar. I think it's a better location myself, in front of the National Gallery. But Jason confirmed last night it is Leicester Square. So if I've said the other thing, apologies for any confusion. That guy hadn't noticed the moon, but most people don't. Most people don't. Let me ask these folks. Hi, folks. Have you seen the moon?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it's always worth checking out the moon. Yeah. People don't know. We just don't see it in the daytime, and it's absolutely clear, you know. But you just got to be compelled to go and have a look. I just want to read a few comments, please. Hi, Greta. You have it right. Never doubt that. I'm sorry about that situation with you and Eva. It felt a little uncomfortable, but I'm glad you set the record straight and so on. I don't think for a second that she was trying to have a pop at you. I think she was saying what I think most people think. It's like any of these esoteric fields. You know, they have the potential for to be misused. I mean, even religion. I mean, religion has so much good, or the aspects of religion there are some fantastic, the goodness. Most people that are in religions are just decent people and so on. But can it be that a preacher of that religion has been misled, and therefore is misleading the flock? We would all agree, I think. We would all agree, and I think that applies to tarot. But my connection with Ava was, she made contact with me after feeling a connection to me on tour, and took a couple of